Hi, how y'all doing? It's fall. It's apple season. We're going to make an apple pie because we're going over to a friend's house. It's always easy to make a nice dessert carry with you. I would highly recommend, though, that you don't do it last minute. Make sure your apple's on sale because these things are not cheap. I have to make a little bit of a nice ooey gooey, tasty, sugary delight that goes on top of this pie. So we'll start with that. Just going to melt a stick of butter. Oops, I'm on the wrong burner there. Get this butter melted. When it's melted, I'm going to add 3 tablespoons of all-purpose flour here just to make a nice paste. Then I'm going to throw in a 1/4 cup of water. And then I will also add, this is a cup of sugar, half a cup of white and half a cup of brown. And then I'm going to bring that to a boil and just let it simmer while I'm doing all the rest of this. So we'll see you in a few minutes. I'm going to get that started.
Quick question for the cook. Is the brown sugar packed brown sugar?
Always, always. Sorry, I just assume whenever you measure brown sugar, you always pack it.
10-4.
Welcome back. So, here's our ooey gooey goodness combined together, and we're just going to let it simmer while we're preparing. Got to really drop that heat down. So, I've got my oven preheated to 425, and that'll only be for the first few minutes of cooking. And this electric takes a little while to come down in temperature. So, earlier today I made my pie dough. You can use any kind of pie dough you want. You can buy your own, make your own, whatever you want to do. I've got the pie shell ready. I'm getting ready to make the top here. I'll cut some nice pretty ribbons, prep my apples. We'll be good to go.
Could show the gadget. What is that gadget you're using?
2 wheels. I don't know what it is.
Pastry wheel, maybe. So I see it doesn't matter that some are fatter, some are slimmer.
I learned a new
Doesn't
word
matter.
the other day. It's called rusticity.
Very nice.
That makes it rustic.
Okay, just checking.
So we're finishing up cutting these apples. They're cored and sliced. This recipe called for 8 Granny Smiths. I chose to put 3 Pink Ladies and 5 Granny Smiths just for a little different apple flavor and texture. Why not? Cutting them up, and fruit like this likes to go brown on you, even though that's not necessarily bad. It goes brown when it hits the air. So what I do, as I'm cutting them and prepping them and time goes by, squeeze a little lemon juice on them, and that will prevent the browning. So nice thin slices so they're good and tender when they cook up. You want them kind of similar in size and thickness as well.
To avoid rusticity.
Yes, to avoid rusticity.
Rusticity.
Yes. I crack myself up sometimes.
What's that?
I said I crack myself up sometimes.
I see that.
Back. Apples are prepped. As you can see the different apples here, the Pink Ladies and the Granny Smiths, different flavors, different textures. We're going to load that into, mound it up because it will drop when you cook. I've got 8 apples here. May not need them all, but I'm going to try to squeeze them all in there. Why not?
That's a lot of apples.
That's a lot of apples.
Good God, that's a lot of apples.
That's a lot of apples. Okay, so we're adding the lattice work here. Start in the center. I start in the center. Give it crisscross. This one's under, so that one will go over. So will this one. You should choose, of course, the longest pieces for going across the center. Now, I'm going to need to go over these two and under that one, so I'll fold this one back. Drop one over it. And I'll do the same thing here. My dough is actually a little bit dry, so it's a little more difficult to work with. And I've decided I'm going to make this half as thick, so I have more. That's the fun part, is that it doesn't matter. So my next one, I need to fold these two back and then drop them over. So you're basically just wanting an over and under every time. An over and under crisscross. And as you work your way out, you just continue doing the same thing. Until you run out. Which looks like I might a little earlier than I wanted to. So I'm under that, so I want to be under this. And over this. So I'll pick a piece here and I'll use half and go under this. Remember that word, rusticity.
Julia Child said, never apologize.
That's right. Nothing perfect about these. It doesn't have to be. That's what's cool. I had to learn to be okay with that. But now I am.
How did you learn to be okay with that?
Because I kept making them less than perfect. And if I wasn't okay with it, I would have drove myself crazy.
But how did they taste?
They taste wonderful.
How could you tell?
Because I ate them. So I'm just going to add some more here and there just to give it a little look. Alrighty. Now, here's the secret to this delicious pie, is that gooey goodness. And it also creates a caramelization on all this too when you're cooking. So you've kept this nice and warm. See, it's coming off, simmering. And you have to do this very slow because you've got to let it get in. You don't want it to fall out of the pie before it gets down in there, which is why you have to have it nice and warm to keep it runny, because as you know, when you cool sugar off, it's going to get, this actually could probably be even warmer than it, more boiling than it is. But it needs to seep down in there.
Would it need more water? Or just
not more water, maybe more temperature. A harder boil.
Does a harder boil increase the temp?
I think I don't really know. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
I wish I did, but I don't. But anyway, you just be patient. We'll come working our way at the center here, and just as long as it doesn't fall out of the pie plate, it's going to do two things. It'll go down in there while it's baking.
So that's the only sugar that sweetens those apples.
Yeah, 1 cup of sugar. So there's a cup of sugar in this recipe. There's a stick of butter. Other than that, we can call it healthy because it's fruity goodness.
Let's see, it doesn't come over as super sweet. If that's the only sugar that's sugaring the apples.
go. It's ready to go. So, I made the mistake one time of cooking one of these not on a pie plate or not on a pan with parchment paper, and your wife will yell at you, and because it's going to spill over, it's going to drip. So, put it on parchment paper on a cookie sheet, just for your own protection.
Roger that.
So here we go, going in the oven, center rack, 425. That's going to be 15 to 20 minutes-ish. Then we're going to drop it to 350, and we're going to finish it off for about 35 minutes. So here we go. Let's see how it turned out. Might need to cook a little longer. Ooh, ooh. Ain't that pretty?
Go gorgeous.
Now I'm going to just test these apples for tenderness with a nice sharp knife. They're kind of tender. I think you could cook just a few more minutes.
Okay.
That's what I think.
All right. So how many minutes did you cook it?
15 minutes at 425, 40 minutes at 350. I'm going to give it another 10 minutes. Okay, 10 minutes later, here we go. Testing it again. Oh yeah, much better. That's all it needed. We will let you know how it tastes. We're going over to a friend's house for dinner.
And you serve it with?
Of course, ice cream. Vanilla.
All right. To quote Julia Childs again, bon appetit. Okay.
So here we go. This is it. Delicious. Very you can really taste the Granny Smith's tartness. So I've been suggested that I add a little flour to the apples. We'll try it.
Okay. And
It's an apple crumble. It's
our
delicious.
hosts do not want to be on camera, but chime in as to what do you think of the apple pie?
I like it. It's really good.
What
I
apple
like the
pie?
difference between the two apples.
Oh, it's gone.
Yeah, you can definitely tell the difference between the two apples. It's really good.
Really good. All right. Signing off. Thank you, Danny.
Yeah, because if it was all one apple flavor, it would get too tart. I mean, if you were making an apple tart.
Right.
Are you still filming?
Yeah. Say goodbye.